Okay, I would say the most common compensation is with a forward trunk clean. So for example, let's say you have them start by starting in a seated position. A lot of times when they get up, what they'll do is they'll have like a really big forward lean. The single leg pistol box squat is a favorite quad exercise of mine, particularly just loading the quad unilaterally. I think it also serves as a good way of assessing between the effective side and the non-effective side. Again, a quick and easy assessment that you can use without really having to, put them on. You use a handheld dynamometer or Kaiser testing or whatever different strength testing you have. I do think it's important for us to constantly be assessing, and I think utilizing single leg strengthening exercises, whether it's quads, hamstrings, glutes, is a great way to do it. And I think the single leg pistol is a great way to do that. So I'm going to break it down the form for the single leg pistol just because I think, in my experience, a lot of people have figured out ways to basically cheat it. There's a couple of really, really common compensations, which I think if you can just kind of pay attention to them and cue them out of it, can really get the quad loaded without compensating, basically. So for a single leg pistol, I'm going to show you from the side. I think that's usually where you see the most amount of compensations. I would say by far the most common compensation is properly demonstrated. I would say is like this, where you're sitting, touch, and then right back up. Okay, so not a lot of major movement between the two. Okay, last one, up. Okay, I would say the most common compensation is with the forward trunk clean. So for example, let's say you have them start by starting in a seated position. A lot of times when they get up, what they'll do is they'll have like a really big forward lean, and then they'll get up, utilizing a little more glutes, as opposed to when I do this, I want to see more quads, okay? So it looks something like this, like that. And if you just try it yourself, this is significantly easier on the quads than being able to do even if I do sit all the way down, this is a lot more quads, okay? So again, it's gonna look something like this. They'll kind of ball up. So what I usually cue them to, I don't have any words on my chest, but maybe for the logo, I'll tell them if I'm in front of you, I want to be able to see like the Under Armour logo. Usually a lot of athletes will have words on their shirt, so I'll tell them that if I'm standing in front of you, I should be able to read your shirt. So if I'm standing here, if you're looking in front of me, you should be able to see the Under Armour logo there. Okay, I would say that's the most common compensation. The second one I'm going to show you straightforward is more so the knees. So at the knee level, it's still, the control is coming from the hip, but just seeing the knee moving, I want to see them be able to control it instead of going like, knee falling into valgus like that. You see, again, external cueing, we talked about how it has a better carryover. I tell them to push it out, or maybe I put my hand here and tell them to push against my hand, but you want to see it more like that, pushing out, okay? So that's usually what I want to see. And again, it's going to be easier to start with. I usually will have you start with just eccentrics and then stepping up a 2. So just to progress the exercise when you first introduce it, here, up with 2. Okay, and if you want to progress that, so a lot of times people might not be ready for that full get up with a single leg. I usually you'll do what we call like a peg stand pistol squat. So you'll look like this. So I'll stick that if I'm working on more of the right leg, the left leg will be out a little further. It's gonna have a little bit of assistance. Usually I'll cue something maybe like 70-30, 80-20 type of thing. And where the left leg's gonna be there, you can kind of do that. Okay, so they should feel a lot more work on that side, but that left leg is obviously helping. And then eventually, the third progression is something more where you sit, okay? And even with this one, making sure they're not rocking, okay? So a lot of people, when they sit, they'll kind of rock and then use momentum. Try to avoid using momentum. Last, the hardest one is just a touch, okay? And obviously the box depth is another big one that is a pretty big variable that can change too. The higher box, the easier it is, and vice versa, the lower the box, the harder it is. So that is the single leg pistol box squat breakdown. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to like and subscribe and share it on your social media platforms.
If you're interested, I have started an ACL Mastermind group, which is a growing library of content centered around ACL Rehab. It has exercises ranging from immediate post-op to late-stage sport-specific movements and everything in between. It's a growing library and currently holds over 250 videos. There's content centered around assessments, movement breakdowns, exercise breakdowns, case studies, and a whole lot more. You also gain access to a private forum where you can engage with like-minded people, ask questions, share research articles, and share resources. If you're interested, please feel free to click the link below. Thank you for watching.